Eastern Conference champion, Western Conference champion, Stanley Cup champion, all in one pick. What do you think the Stanley Cup Final is going to be, and who is the 2024 Stanley Cup champions?
All right, here we go. You're ready for a lot of this, because here's where a lot of people turn the podcast off, because I'd mentioned the Colorado Avalanche a bunch already. And this is and I'm reading not word for word, but I'm reading the email that I sent in my predictions. I will take the Pittsburgh Penguins beating the Colorado Avalanche in the finals. Is it a lot of homerism? Sure. Can the Penguins bounce back? Absolutely. I also said Mike Sullivan should win the Jack Adams this year. So, hey, you know what? Have at it, everybody. Sorry for the homerism. If anything else, my second choice will just be straight up Colorado. Boom.
So your Stanley Cup champion is Colorado beating the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Reverse that, buddy.
Oh, you have the Penguins beating the Colorado Avalanche. I mean, it didn't go well at the Nova Scotia Showdown. Do you really think a repeat of that in the Stanley Cup Final is gonna behoove the Penguins?
I don't know.
You're like, I don't know, man. I just want to see it. But yeah, McKinnon versus Crosby, certainly an interesting Stanley Cup Final. And I obviously don't discredit the fact that the Colorado Avalanche are a tremendous team and they won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago. And I would not be surprised if they went out there and they were a favorite once again. They are a favorite once again. I don't know if they're going to be. If is not even in the equation. The Colorado Avalanche are going to be one of the best teams in the National Hockey League this season. The Pittsburgh Penguins, it's a jump, bud. That's a jump.
It's a huge one.
I'm not quite there yet with the Pittsburgh Penguins, as you could probably tell by me saying they're going to finish fourth in the Metropolitan Division. At least that's my prediction as I sit here today on October 5th of 2023. But my Stanley Cup Final, Boston Bruins coming out of the Eastern Conference, Dallas Stars coming out of the Western Conference, and I think Jason Robertson, Miro Heiskanen, Jake Ottinger, they win it all. Dallas Stars win third straight year for the Western Conference. That's my prediction.
So as for the Boston piece, I think they're set to take a huge step back. That's just me. Dallas, I don't totally hate that. You mentioned it last time. I think it's also partly the market they play in. It's not going to get the same hockey buzz. It's not going to get the same attention in the realm of the sport. I keep forgetting they have Jake Ottinger down there, but between the pipes, who could very easily fight for a Vezina this year. Jason Robertson's a monster. That depth is aging in terms of Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, but they're guys that can still do things. So I like that option too. But maybe it's just because I haven't seen them play it this year. That again, that market doesn't feed a lot of national attention. We'll see how it goes. I like that choice, though. I just think Boston's set for a huge setback.
Well, I'll talk about Boston in a second. I'll talk about Boston in a second with you. But when I look at Dallas's roster, this is a team that won a playoff series last year. That, yes, they didn't perform well in the second round, but their goaltender ran out of gas, right? Ottinger ran out of gas because he was holding down the fort that entire time. The defense kind of left him out to dry. But I look at this roster. Yeah, you mentioned Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn. They do not nearly need to do the heavy lifting that they did before. Rupe Hintz is on that team. Mason Marchment had a down year last year. He's on that team. You have Pavelski. You have Matt Duchene over there this year. You have Evgeny Dodonov over there. I love this team. They picked up Sam Steele on a quick deal. I think that was a good move for the bottom of their lineup. And then their defense, I mean, Heiskanen, we all know. Lindell is phenomenal. And I just think that with that team as an entire team and in the Western Conference that we saw last year is very, very volatile. I think that's a team that could take advantage. That is a team that I think is a really stellar position to go on a run this season. And I do really like the Dallas Stars. And the Boston Bruins, you mentioned it. You think they're in for a massive regression. Well, they were a historic, again, same thing as the Erik Karlsson thing. They were historically the best team in hockey history last year. Yes, they're going to regress. They lost Patrice Bergeron. Yes, they're going to regress. But from a leadership standpoint, Brad Marchand's not a bad guy to have in there. Coaching standpoint, they're pretty set up there too with Jim Montgomery. Goaltending standpoint, yes. Do I expect Linus Ullmark to be the Vezina Trophy winning goaltender again? No. Do I expect him to perform at that level? No. But do I love the fact that Jeremy Swayman is not just a capable 1B? I think they have 2 1As on their hand. Now, do I think that they're going to be first place in the Atlantic? No, I do think they take a step back. There's going to be a figuring out process and a feeling out process with that team. But all they got to do is get in the playoffs. And if you remember, when the Tampa Bay Lightning went out there, were historically good in the regular season, then crap the bed in the playoffs, what did they do the next 2 years? Went and won the Stanley Cup. What did they do the year after that? Went and lost the Stanley Cup, but made it through Stanley Cup finals. I'm not going to say that that's what Boston's going to do. I just think they're going to do it this year.
They won 2 Stanley Cup finals in back-to-back COVID years. Not to throw an asterisk on it, but I'm going to throw an asterisk on it just for the sake of this conversation. I said multiple times before that that's a legitimate cup. Those are legitimate cups. Give it to them. But for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to give it to them just because I don't care. And also the Carlson comparison, you're right. Like, yeah, they had the historic season. They're going to regress, eventually. Of course, they're going to regress this season.
Yeah.
Something about this year with the Bruins, though. I just don't like it. Losing Bergeron is big. That's going to hurt. Losing Krejci as well is going to be kind of big. Don't forget they also lost Taylor Hall. I think there's another name they lost over the offseason. I mean,
Nick Foligno, but
depth guy, you never know.
Yeah.
But that's a lot to drop all at once. And yeah, you're right. The goaltending is going to still be good. I think Linus Ullmark's season was a bit of an anomaly. So I would genuinely expect Jeremy Swayman to be the starter there. At least he should be all season. Don't care. But sometimes goalies, I say this all the time, goalies have their one big season, and then there's nothing like that again. I'd expect that from Ullmark. I just don't see it this year. I'm not saying they'll miss the playoffs, but I'm saying I just don't see great things in their future. Adding Milan Lucic too. Come on, that's a vibe signing. That's not a he's going to help us signing.
It is a vibe signing, but that's not the reason I'm saying they're going to go to the Stanley Cup Final now.
No, it's not, but he's not going to do them any favors.
No, but even the Colorado Avalanche won a Stanley Cup with Jack Johnson.
Was he playing in all those games? He was.
Third pairing defenseman, Jack Johnson on the Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche.
Former first-round pick Jack Johnson. You get it right. Where was Lucic taken? Also in the first round, I think. That being said,
that I'm not sure.
Hold on. Before we end this, I'm going to find that because it'll take me 5 seconds. He was a second round, 50th overall.
Yep. That's it for this episode of the Tip of the Iceberg. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.